Let me see your identification.
What did you say? I'm tighten those restraints. Scavenger scum.
We don't need to see his identification.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
My lord.
Don't tell us. 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 Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, the journey to the moon, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about.
Hell yeah.
I'm Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week that we do a podcast, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad we're doing a show.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
You know how long it's been since we've done a show?
No.
The last time we did a show, barely anybody knew who Sydney Sweeney was, and nobody gave two shits about American Eagle or advertising campaigns of theirs. And now all of a sudden,
Everyone knows.
Yeah. And that's already becoming like old news too.
Yeah, I mean, even I, who don't watch television, found out about this Sydney Sweeney thing.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's
hard to miss.
Yeah. Yet somehow it was an issue. Like, it just takes me back to the, remember Cindy Crawford doing the Guess Jeans?
Yes.
Or they always had the Guess Jeans girl.
Yeah.
Anna Nicole Smith was one for a while.
Uh-huh.
It's like,
What was wrong with that?
nothing.
Nothing. Exactly.
You put a hot girl in tight jeans and people will stare.
It sells clothes.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all happened since the last time we recorded. God knows what else.
Exactly. God knows what else, because I'm thinking of the shit that's supposed to be for my fucking week and having like, I got to talk about that for my week in the car, and then getting here and forgetting.
Yeah. Happens.
Every fucking time.
It's all right. You're almost 50. You have an excuse.
I really need to start drinking again.
Right. So anyway, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm trying to think how long ago it was. I think it was about 2 weeks now since Captain Jim Lovell passed away.
Is it Lovell or Lavelle?
Lovell.
Lovell?
Yes,
Oh,
it's
Lovell. Lovell. Yeah. Anyway, he's dead now.
Yeah, Captain Jim Lovell had USN retired, had passed away, and he is the best known as the commander of Apollo 13.
Mm-hmm.
So the Apollo 13 movie also has an anniversary this year.
That's right.
So
fucking 30.
30th
Just turned
anniversary
30 this year.
Which is fucking bonkers.
Mm-hmm.
And so felt it was uniquely appropriate to kind of talk about the movie and get into Apollo 13. And, you know, I have some Jim Lovell stuff we can talk about too.
Sweet.
This is the Apollo program is like right in the middle of my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Like I'm batting close to 1,000 with most things in the Apollo program. So buckle up, kids, because like you want to know how bad it is? I had, when I first became an AGR, I was digging around, you know.
That's a type of job, by the way, for those non-military folks.
Right. It was basically when I started active duty. I had access to a computer and a printer, and the government's the government's printer as opposed to my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, here is the Apollo mission files for all of this stuff. And so I had like the paper copies of like the transcripts of the missions.
Wow.
That I printed and put in binders. And I had these things, and I think I still have the files.
Well,
like
that's
the actual
that's good.
like, files, like not the paper anymore.
Oh,
but the actual. I don't think it was PDF at the time. I think it were probably some kind of Word document, or There's probably some format that the government stopped using, so now I won't be able to open it, but like you do. But yeah, that's how bad it is for me with the Apollo program. So
yeah.
again, buckle up, kids.
All right. Geez. So what do we do now? I guess this is the point in the show where we talk about Patreon.
You talk about Patreon.
All right. Well, if you're enjoying the Sidebar Cantina's content, consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters.
37. My girlfriend sucked 37 dicks in a row.
For as little as $37 a month, you can help support this podcast and make it possible for us to continue to bring you quality content week after week. We'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Frank Kalevich, Catherine Rennick, Dragon Buddy, Lord Helmet Fire, Nick from Sweet Studios, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Don Solsky, Wally Frogmore, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Helen Martin, Sterling Azier, Nicholas Schaefer, Kristen Roscom, Carly Vickers, Ivo G, Shotgun Mark, Frederick Martin, David Schmuck, Scott and Kim, David Schmuck, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, and the Orange and Fetch Show. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this. I think I hurt my thumb on that one.
Oh, shit.
I
I knew there was a reason I opened my phone.
Right. Then you went and opened your book.
Yeah.
Squirrel.
We don't need to see what my blood pressure has been for the past 2 weeks. Since that's been my life for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Kelly said she forgot the notes.
Perfect.
She just wrote that in the chat.
Awesome.
We're a professional gig here, folks.
Where'd the notes go? Like, I had them pinned.
Does it matter since they're not there?
Well, I mean, kind of. Oh, CV notes. PC load letter.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck does that mean? Oh, I remember.
All right.
I remember the thing.
Well, write it down or something so you don't forget.
I'm typing.
He spent like 10 minutes before the show trying to remember this thing that he thought about during his drive over here. So, God, don't waste too much time. You're going to lose it. He's doing nothing.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
All
It's
right.
there. I'm good. I'm good. I'll read stuff after the show.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's press.
All right. Well, let's get into our weeks, shall we? Because there's a reason why we haven't been here in a while.
Yeah.
And the big reason is me, because I've been gone. And American Airlines as well. They fucking had a rough week last week.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The airlines.
I think it was the airlines in general, but
yeah.
I happened to be on American and got some of the fallout of all this shit that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, anywho, yeah, I've been to a couple of conventions the last week.
No shit.
Yeah, so
do you have booty?
I do.
All right. Let's go. I don't I'm trying to think if we have a dance beat.
I don't think we do.
I gotta
Do it live in a row.
I had to recage my buttons.
Right.
I'm good now.
So let's start from the beginning. 2 weeks ago, I went to the Rebel Scum Con.
Yes.
In Dallas, Texas, our old stomping grounds, Dallas.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What kind of memories did that bring back hitting that airport up?
Oh, just us going to and fro. Greenville?
Yep.
Greenville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Greenville, Texas.
And dealing with all the traffic and
yeah.
And having to get a shuttle from the main terminal to the rental car place.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, good times.
Doesn't the train go there now? Like, I thought they were building something so that the train would go all the way to the rental car.
I have no idea.
Am I imagining that?
You could be right.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've been there.
Yeah, no, same. It's the first time I've been down there since since our days in the squadron, circa 2015, 2016 frame. So anyway, I went down there for the Rebel Scum Con, and I gotta say, this was fucking awesome. Obviously it's a Star Wars only convention, so it's gonna be awesome.
Right.
But the whole atmosphere and the way this thing was run and the the level of the crowds and everything, so much less than one of these fan expos like the Philly Fan Expo or the Chicago one that I was just at this last weekend. Far different, much lower attendance because it's in a smaller venue. It's in basically this little convention center that's attached to this hotel that we happen to be staying at. So we saw a lot of the guests in passing, like what's her name? The chick that plays the armorer. We were in the elevator with her.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So Sam Witwer was checking in as we were like passing by, and so it was pretty cool being in that hotel that's connected to the venue that everybody was staying at.
That's awesome.
And yeah, like I said, it was a much lower key thing. They still had panels. They still had guests. A decent amount of guests. In fact, I'm going to bring up that guest list because I'm going to forget some people that were there.
Yeah, I was actually I started following them on Instagram, the Rebel Scum Con on Instagram.
Yeah,
and I was watching. I was quite frankly, when they were walking around like filming people, I'm like looking. All right, where's Jason?
Yeah,
I'm looking for his dome. I don't see him. But yeah, and they had some of the panels, like some clips from the panels that were going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and the best part for me was as you're going through and getting signatures and stuff on things, because there were not as many people there, so they didn't have as many people waiting for them, they actually sat and took a minute to talk to everybody, which was pretty nice.
Yeah.
So
it's actually engagement as opposed to
just like sign next,
process.
Yeah. Which, when I did Mark Hamill last year or even Ewan McGregor this year, it was like super quick. Still got a word in with Ewan, which we'll get to that. But it was much more personable. Very, very cool. In fact, I'm going to share my screen and show some visual aids. People in the Cantina Facebook group have already seen this stuff, but I'm going to show it off again anyway. Where is it? All right. Can you see that? Yeah. So the first picture, there's me and Miss Katie Sackhoff. So she actually got there late on Saturday. She was supposed to be there early Saturday, but she got there late. This is at like almost midnight, this picture, because they had to set up a booth for her outside of the venue, like right at the entrance to the convention center. See, this is in the background there. That's the lobby of this convention center. They had to set up this like temporary booth for her so she could actually do some signatures because she had a pretty long line of people that were waiting for her.
No shit.
So yeah, she was cool as shit. She was filming in Canada the night before, and then she took the flight in, or she was supposed to take the flight in, got delayed. These last 2 weeks, it's been nothing but like cancellations and delays and shit all over the place. And that was even evident with some of the guests that we had.
Oh yeah.
At some of these shows.
It's not like these aren't the type of people that are getting their own private charters, right?
Yeah.
They're getting on in American Airlines and shit just like the rest of us.
Yeah. And when I went through Katie's line, basically I just said, "Hey, thanks for staying out here so late, really means a lot." And she's like, "Oh yeah, no worries. I'm super tired, but love doing this for you guys." And
look at how tiny she is.
Yeah, she's shorter than me, and I'm 5'6". So,
yeah.
And she's super skinny too.
Did she say what she was filming?
No. I mean, I probably could have looked it up, but I didn't think to do that. So anyway, the next picture was here with Diana Lee Santo. She even said, "Let's take this picture in front of the sign in case you forget my name." But
that's awesome.
She's the gal that played Morgan Elspeth in Ahsoka, and
right.
She was cool as shit too. I told her, I'm like, "Oh man, I'm so sad that they killed off Morgan." Just as you were getting all badass with those blades and the fucking Night Sister magic and all that. And she's like, "Oh, I know," but she's like, and I asked Dave Filoni, she's like, "Any chance she can come back?" And he's like, "No, she's dead."
Damn it!
So,
like, come on, they brought people back from worse.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, they cut Maul in half, for God's sakes.
I know. There's my new ink that I don't know if anybody saw or not. Can you see it on the?
No, you're
very terrible.
You're gonna have to wait till the screen gets bigger.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got the Sith Empire logo on my forearm where I've been wanting to get this done for years, and they happen to have tattoo artists set up there at the Rebel Scum Con, and I'm just like, fuck it. You busy right now? I was like, no, cool. Let me get this. And sure enough, we did that.
Sweet.
Took an hour from start to finish.
Not bad.
And
not bad at all.
Yeah, didn't hurt too much, and I like the way it turned out. So
Excellent.
I'm thinking about getting the Empire logo right below it. So have Empire and Sith Empire, or Galactic Empire and Sith Empire. So next, Kyle Soller from Andor. He played Cyril Karn. Dude was cool as shit, man. Like
the dude looks like he just rolled out of bed.
He does, yeah. He and I'm pretty sure he did, because that was first thing in the morning on Saturday.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, and again, he was so fucking cool. He he talked about how he loved the role, and this was his first con appearance.
Really?
Yeah. So, this is the first time he's doing anything like this, and I'm like, yeah, man, us fans, we really appreciate this, and we love when people come out and embrace the Star Wars fandom.
Did you warn him that, like, this is kind of this is mild compared to like what other cons are going to be like?
Well, I didn't want to say that because I didn't want it to come off as like, oh yeah, you didn't bring much of a crowd with you, But
I mean, that's fair. But
so I tried to keep that kind of talk to a minimum. But I was asking him like, oh, so what do you got coming up next? He's talking about like a play he's doing out in the UK right now, and he's got some other shows that are coming out. One with who the fuck is that guy? Anyway, he's got a show coming out with some other famous actor here in the next year or so. So he was cool as shit. Here's the man, fucking Sam Witwer, Darth Maul, fucking Star Killer.
Fucking.
He and I talked for a minute about like the movie orders, because there's a sweet YouTube video out there of him basically saying how he would introduce somebody to Star Wars, like a kid introducing them to Star Wars,
right,
for the first time. And he had the greatest order that I could ever imagine doing. And I told him that. I'm like, dude, if my kids ever give me grandkids, that's exactly how I'm going to introduce them to Star Wars, is that the way that you talked about in that video. And then he's like, well, and that video was all fine and good, but there's other ways you could do it as well. Some would argue for starting with the original trilogy, or some would, because there's some credit to that. And
he's backpedaling a little bit.
Yeah, he went off on some tangents, but
that's awesome.
But yeah, no, he was fucking awesome. Like, everybody at this convention was cool. Oh, and here's Michelle Ang, aka the voice of Omega. She was awesome. She's really hot too. Can't tell from the picture, but got to talk to her for several minutes. Apparently, this was her first exposure to Star Wars, was getting this role as Omega.
Really?
Yeah, like she had very little familiarity with it whatsoever.
Is she also like Kiwi?
She is. Yeah, she lives in New Zealand.
Okay.
Because I asked her, like, do you make it out to cons very much, or is this your first one? She's like, yeah, well, based on where I live, it's a little tough. I'm like, New Zealand. She's like, yep.
Yeah, our friend the John is a frequent visitor now.
Yeah.
Of New Zealand. He's got many of the months logged.
Nice.
Over there.
Yeah, it's a place I wouldn't mind going, but I hear they're not too fond of Americans.
I don't know. I mean, granted, this was over a decade ago, but I mean, we spent a week out there in Auckland, and we had a phenomenal time. Like, no issues at all.
Okay.
We even went into a Polynesian after-hours bar.
Yeah.
Wasn't a good idea, and we were politely escorted out because the fighting was getting ready to start. Because apparently it was that time of night where they were like, the alcohol had just gotten to the point where it's like, okay, now they're going to start fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Sidebar. So when we were out in New Zealand, we made friends with one of the bartenders, right? Some British backpacker that ended up in New Zealand, right?
As a bartender.
Nice. Which happens a lot. You'd be really surprised, like, especially through like those islands in the Pacific and in Indonesia and Thailand and all those places, you get people that are like, okay, going on sabbatical, going to just go someplace with whatever I have on my back, fucking get a job, make enough money to get to the next place, and then do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So many people in Auckland we met were like that. People from Ireland, England. Really, really interesting. But so this guy, his name was Barney. He actually like befriended us and was taking us to these different bars, introducing us as the Americans, and like, again, no problems at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, the end of the night, it was late, and we weren't flying the whole week.
Right.
So there was no cruise show. We had nothing to do
Except drink.
Right. And be hungover.
Mm-hmm.
So, but not be hungover, which is even funnier.
Sure.
But that particular evening, it's like, oh, hey, we're going to go to this place, right? I know that, we can get in.
Mm-hmm.
So we get into this, and it's like, it's filled with Samoans, giant human beings.
Yeah.
Right. We had Paul. Remember Paul Shrout?
Mm-hmm.
How big he was?
Mm-hmm.
Tiny.
Damn.
Compared to these dudes. It was insane. So we're like in there, we, got beverages, and then the bartender's like, I'm going to have you guys like go towards the back here,
Mm-hmm.
because things are starting to get a little riled up here in the bar. And Barney was like, yeah, okay, good call. And then so he kind of moved us toward the back. We finished our drinks and kind of went out the back door.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Denny's right across the street. And it was fairly close to breakfast time. So
New Zealand Denny's, huh?
yeah.
All right.
So we ended up going into the Denny's and sitting there and watching. And there was like fisticuffs and spilling out of the bar.
Jeez.
And the police just kind of like blocked off the roads. They didn't try and stop them,
Mm-hmm.
because who the fuck could?
Right.
They just kind of blocked off the road and just let it happen. And we were sitting in the Denny's looking out the window watching this show. like holy shit, we were just in there. So, yeah. Great time in fucking New Zealand. 10 out of 10 recommend. And again, we were in Auckland. Most military people end up down in Christchurch, because they're usually supporting John's mission doing deep freeze
Mm-hmm.
for Antarctica. And Christchurch is obviously further south. Anyway, yeah.
Is that all?
Omega.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it was weird too, because as we were talking, she, it's the voice of Omega coming out of that girl.
Right.
Like, and it's so weird hearing that. And I told her that, I'm like, it's so weird hearing Omega's voice coming from you. She's like, yeah, because they didn't tell me to change my voice or anything. They didn't give me any direction as to, what to do with my voice. So she just talked.
So just go ahead and talk.
Yeah. She just talked like normal.
That's awesome.
So while I was there, I got a few things signed. So let me bust some of those out.
Let's see the booty.
First of all, we'll start with some of the pictures. What's her name? Diana Lee on Santo. See, I forgot her name. Did an autograph picture. I picked this one because
Balin's in there.
Yeah, Balin's in there, and this is from that episode. I think it was 4, which is like my favorite episode of the whole series and one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars canon. Period. And she wrote a little quote on there for me.
Across time and space.
Yeah, Thrawn calls
to me
across time
and space.
Yeah. Then Kyle Solar did one for me, and he did a quote, and this is there comes a time when the risk of doing nothing becomes the greatest risk of all. Kyle Solar. So there's that.
Look at the picture.
Yeah. I'm like, I had to get that one because, they had all these 8x10s spread all over the table. And when you got an autograph, if it wasn't something special, then what?
just the look on his face of of bemusement.
Yeah, that's the look he gives Andor right before he goes and starts wailing on him.
Right. Like, you motherfucker.
Mm.
And then, this is the look we see before his head explodes.
Yeah. Now,
did you ask him about that? Like, how'd you feel about your head exploding?
Oh yeah, no, I'm like, oh, it's such a shame they killed him off. And he's like, well, but you know what? He's like, it needed to happen based on where he was at that moment and how insignificant he realized he was in the grand scheme of things, and he went all into this big thing, and it was good.
That's awesome.
All right. So Miss Katie Sackhoff signed this Black Series figure for me.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, a lot of what you're going to see now is from the sacred Jedi. Yes. So there's one that Katie Sackhoff signed.
Yes. It's awesome.
And then this is the Omega one. Like, I'm holding it in that picture because she's like, oh, do you want me to hold the toy? I'm like, sure.
He's my brother. They all are.
Yeah, she wrote a quote on it. And I didn't ask any of them for quotes. They're just like, do you want me to put a quote on there? I'm like, sure.
Hell yeah. It's going to cost me extra? No? Yeah, throw it on there.
Yep. Someone who didn't put a quote on there, but I'm glad I got him to sign this one, was Sam Witwer signing the Star Killer Black Series figure.
Oh, that's perfect.
Which was made after his likeness.
Yeah. That's spectacular.
And then I think there was one. Actually, no, that was it for the Rebel Scum Con.
Okay.
A lot of cool cosplay, a lot of Mandalorians. I saw so many fucking Mandalorians.
Well, they
over
had
these
a
last 2
parade
weeks.
of them.
Yeah,
like I saw, like I said, I followed them on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they showed like the parade of them going through.
That was while I was getting my tattoo. As I'm getting here, I could see the parade going around.
There were some really good and some interesting shapes.
Yes.
Of Mandalorian.
Yes.
I'll say that.
Yeah. And again, Rebel Scum Con, I hope that they do it at the same level next year as they did this year, where it's not as big of a thing. But
so this is something they've done before?
This is the second time they've done it.
Okay. And it's in Texas?
In Dallas, yeah. At this same venue.
Yeah, I got to do it next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Because hopefully, they still get the same quality of guests, and it's as intimate of a thing.
Dude, I'm in. We'll fucking fly down there, do it to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
And this last weekend, I was in the Fan Expo Chicago. And just like I was last year, where we did the Mark Hamill thing.
Yeah.
This year was all about Ewan McGregor.
Which is phenomenal.
Yep. So, as I'm going through his line, he was saying, like, at least to me and Bob, because Bob was ahead of me. And when we come up to him, he goes, "Hello there," and then asks what color we want it signed in and everything. But here is my Obi-Wan Kenobi signed by Ewan McGregor, and you can see in the top corner up there somewhere is an authenticity seal.
Yeah.
So I got that done with that one, like I did with Mark Hamill, because some of those ones you want to have that authentication sticker.
Hell yeah.
To let them know that it's legit. And because I not forgot, but I just didn't do this for whatever reason, Hayden Christensen was there, and I got him to sign a Black Series figure as well.
Awesome.
So we got this Anakin Skywalker. This is from Ahsoka with him in his Clone Wars gear, but it's Hayden Christensen.
Did you not get something signed by Hayden Christensen?
No, not when he was in Philly, because I don't remember why, but I think I had reached my budget at that point. And that was probably what it was. And this time I'm just like, nope, fuck it. I'm getting it. This is, you don't get too many chances to meet these guys. And I tell you what, Hayden was awesome. He took the time, every single person that came in line. Even though he had a massive crowd, he took the time. As soon as people would get up there, he'd reach his hand out to shake. He'd ask the person's name. He'd, be like, "Oh, you having a good time?" And he'd let them say whatever they wanted to say, ask whatever questions they wanted to. Big smile on his face the whole time. Finish signing, say a couple more things, and then reach out his hand again. And it was just like, "Thank you." And just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's, considering his journey in Star Wars, the sort of ire that he got in the beginning, and like he could have easily have just been like, "Fuck you guys, you stupid fucking nerds, and you fucking hate me for my performance. I did the best I could." And he could have easily have just gone the bitter route, but he is completely embracing it. He is so grateful. He just had a massive smile on his face the whole time. It was cool.
Yeah, thank God the fan base turned itself around too, and I think it really helps it that generationally we have prequel adults now that appreciated him for what he was. Like, okay, this is our guy. This is our part of our time.
Yeah.
And I think that probably struck just at the right moment.
Yeah.
For him to be able to have this resurgence.
Yeah. And when I got up there, so I told him, so I think I owe you an apology. And he's like, "Oh." I'm like, "Yeah. So last year I had a photo op with you and Rosario Dawson. And if you remember me telling this story, when I did the photo op with them, I was completely fixated on Rosario. Like, I barely even gave him a notice. And he's the one who came up to me at first, again, stuck out his hand,
right,
wanted to shake, "What's your name?" And then as soon as he did that, I was like completely focused on her for the rest of the time. Never looked at him, never, acknowledged him. And I told him this. I'm like, and I completely felt like I blew you off. So I really apologize for that. And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine."
That's funny.
Yeah. So
that must have happened most of the time, I would imagine, because Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. So, but I got to do that when I was in line for him.
Spectacular.
And then Ewan, really, because they were moving him pretty fast. So I just asked him like, "How's your hand holding up?" Because we were in line for a couple hours, and he was waiting for him, and he was just signing. He's like, "Hand's holding up pretty well." So that was that. And there's so much more I could get into detail wise, like the shit that they had at these conventions. But you know what they didn't have at Chicago? They didn't have tattoo artists, because I was gonna get the fucking Empire logo to finish the set here,
right?
But they didn't have tattoo artists in Chicago.
I don't think they had them in Philly either.
I swear to God, I thought that they did.
I don't think they did. Not in Philly.
Okay. I don't know. Weird. I know I've been to a convention where they've had them before, and not just the Rebel ScumCon where I actually got one. But I know I've seen him at previous conventions. Sorry.
Sounds like you got the road aids.
Yeah. No, I'm just not used to talking this much.
Right?
No, but it was it was a great 2 weeks. And I was there with our good friend Bob, and he got a shitload of stuff signed. Like all the lightsabers and everything. Like, you got to come over to his house and see his whole setup now. It's something else.
That's spectacular.
But yeah, it was a good time, and you need to get your ass out to these. We're going to San Antonio in October. That's where Ian McDiarmid's going to be.
Yeah, I think that's like over it's like the 26th or something.
Yeah, it's the end of the month.
Yeah, it's like right over my birthday.
Ah, fuck, that's right.
That's not going to happen. Next year I'll have a budget for that. I'm going to Pinehurst this year, and that's like crazy expensive golf trip. It's much more than our usual golf trip. So
okay,
it's kind of a bucket list golf trip.
Yeah.
So that's there. All the budget's going to that for this year. Next year I'll have a little bit more discretionary spending for doing some stuff like that.
Yes, because you should come to some of these. It's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Now, before I finish up my week, I do actually have one normal addition to
the Sacred Jedi Pixies.
Woohoo!
Happened to catch this one on sale somewhere, and I'm like, I didn't even know this one existed. This is another gaming greats. It's from Battlefront 2. It's a Republic Commando and a battle droid in some special looking paint jobs.
check it out.
And oh, by the way, if what's his name? Is it Kenny Baker, the guy who does the voice of the clones in the Clone Wars? Not
Kenny Baker is the little person in R2D2.
Well, it's something Baker, something. The guy who does the voice for the clones in Clone Wars and Rebels and all that.
Okay.
If he ever comes to one of these cons again, I got to get him to sign a couple of these.
Yeah.
And the guy who does the Battle Droid voice was actually at Rebel ScumCon. I didn't get anything from him, but he was there, and
he'll be at others.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those where it's fringy enough where you could probably get fairly easily.
Sorry, I knocked over my pile of signed Black Series figures.
You're going to have to get them appropriately displayed.
Yes.
Fairly quickly.
Yeah, I've got to rethink this whole thing. But yeah, my collection of signed Black Series figures is growing, so
That's not a bad place to be.
Nope. So, all right, why don't you start talking about your week? I'm just going to stand up really quick and do something, but you talk about your week. I can still hear you.
It's weird, but all right. So, I'll start my week with he's turning on the fan. So yeah, over the past couple weeks, while Jason was out traipsing all over the country, doing fun stuff and seeing famous people, I've been dealing with some minor health issues.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened this time? What'd you do while I was gone?
So I don't
Should have grabbed the remote of that thing.
I don't really know. Why is it too fanny for you right now?
I don't know. I guess it's fine.
Here. There's a remote.
We don't want to blow our wad too early.
No, so
This thing doesn't work.
maybe it needs a battery.
Yeah. Anyway, carry on.
So, yeah, I had an episode where I kind of, it's going to sound bad to say it like this, but I kind of like passed out while
shit.
I was driving.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Not all right. So I wasn't feeling well, and I drove home. I went home early from work,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like it was like 1:30 in the afternoon, so it wasn't even like a full day at work.
Right.
And I just kind of like went boop, and the lane departure actually woke me up.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like, brrr, and it kind of
As it should, as it's designed to do.
right. And I was doing over 70 miles an hour, and the
It's on
thing goes
295?
off. Yeah, it goes off, and when I kind of went, oh my, like, brr, like this, and I felt like I was looking in somebody's side view mirror, like it was like,
Oh God.
fuck, and then kind of the car was getting to the middle of the lane again, and it just scared the absolute shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because I've been having like these moments where I would just like, I thought it was more like a micro sleep.
Uh-huh.
It's just because I've been tired, but this was like
narcolepsy kind of thing.
it's like, yeah. So it scared the shit out of me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming to work tomorrow. I'll telework because I just want to, like, maybe I need more sleep. And so we started doing stuff at home to see if we could start isolating, what it could be. And I went to the doctors and started journaling my blood pressure, and it appeared that my blood pressure was like really low, especially certain periods during the day. So we're monitoring that, and then blah 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 blah. So at the end of the day, everything seems to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
It could be, I started using my CPAP again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's doing anything different, but it could be helping. Who knows?
Yeah.
It certainly can't hurt. I've always been borderline. Um, so whatever. I have a stress test scheduled. I have to get a stress test, but it for me the heart shit's scary.
Yeah.
'Cause especially like around 50, because my grandfather had his first heart attack right around when he turned 50. My dad had his first heart episode in his early 50s, right before he had the bypass.
Yeah.
Right? And they both had quadruple and triple bypass surgeries.
Jeez.
And ultimately, while my grandfather, he didn't pass because of his heart. He had COPD. His heart was working great. His lungs just weren't working right. And my dad, he had heart failure. So it's obviously I'm a little sensitive to it.
Sure. Yeah.
So we're just watching it, and I haven't had any issues like that since I stopped taking my blood pressure medicine. My blood pressure's been fine. So I think that kind of bottoming out a little bit of my blood pressure might have been kind of causing some of this. So who knows? Getting the stress test, if everything comes through that, then my heart's basically getting a green serviceable tag at that point.
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure out something else. So yeah, I've been dealing with that for the past few weeks.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then there's stress too. I think it's a contributor.
Yeah, which from the way you describe it, it sounds like your life is nothing but stress, at least when it comes to work.
I bring it upon myself. I care too much about things. I can't be a spectator. I just can't.
Right.
It's not my nature. Be nice. All right, give me a drug that's going to make me just passive and just be like, all right, I'll sit here and I'll do spreadsheets or do whatever. But anyway, the moral of that story is it's that you kind of have to pay attention to what your body's trying to tell you. Especially look, we have veterans that are listening to us because we're veterans.
Oh yeah.
And I had a new primary at the VA, and I was like, all right, I'm going to tell you what I tell all my new doctors for the first time. It's like, I am going to lie to you. It's like, that's what I did for more than 2 decades. Like, that was my job, was to lie to you because my livelihood depended on it.
Right.
And I'd still be doing it if my blood work hadn't ratted me out. So in the military, our livelihood and our service to the country is dependent on us being able to fool you and not tell you everything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's like, I am somewhat reformed. It's been 7 years, 8 years or whatever.
My God, has it been that long?
Yeah.
Wow. It's only been 3 for me, but it feels like quite a while.
It does feel longer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like as long because I'm still going to the base every day.
Yeah.
But I feel the age difference. But anyway, so I tell her, I'm like, look, I'm trying my best. But if it doesn't seem like I'm being entirely forthcoming, call me out on it.
Yeah.
But I think that's all of us. That's all of us that have been in the military. Like, we are more willing to lie to ourselves about what we can, like, okay, yes, that hurts, or yes, that's uncomfortable, or yes, why does I have this pressure in my chest, but I'm not dead yet, so I'm just going to keep going. Which I've had this constant pressure on my chest for like weeks.
Oh, jeez.
We have this propensity to file it away, and like, okay, it's either going to kill us or make us stronger. And it's not good. It's real. It's honestly, it's the difference between career military and somebody, you know, like who, you know, a Pop-Tart went in, did their 4 years and got out.
Yeah.
Not saying their service was any less, but
there's a difference.
There's a when you make it a career and you have to pass physicals and you have to pass a PT test and do all those things. Like, you're putting stress on your body that is not normal.
Right. Because it's like you said, it's our livelihood, you know,
Yep.
like it's part of our job is to stay healthy. And this way we can perform our duties. Otherwise, what good are we?
Yeah. And healthy for us is relative.
Yeah.
Right. Can I do the mission? Right. Do I feel great? No. Right. This hurts, that hurts, this, you know, but can I still do it? Yes. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's very binary. And we have to try and get past that. And that's something that, you know, I fear, not to make it a political statement, but I fear that if there's any privatization of things like VA healthcare, any aspect of caregivers that understand the military at all goes away. And so does quite frankly, so does the government's responsibility for taking care of us, you know, for what we've put our bodies through to maintain that.
I mean, is there still talk of them doing that?
Oh yeah.
Like...
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's funny too, because it's one of those arguments that's like, oh, you know, wouldn't you rather see, you know, a private doctor or whatever? And the honest answer is, the doctors that I'm seeing, they're as good, if not better, because I'm seeing doctors from Penn right now.
Yeah.
You know, there's some of the best doctors in the country. You know, my specialists are some of the best specialists in the country, because they walk across the street from Penn.
Yeah.
So I'm being in Philly, I'm in a unique instance for that, I guess. Maybe if you're at a VA in Richmond, Virginia, maybe you don't get that.
Right.
But yeah, it's just a challenging time, and it's stressful. But regardless of that,
boy, I feel great now.
Yeah, that's why I started with it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, DeBoer's good. But yeah, I don't get to choose.
DeBoer is a hospital for anybody who doesn't know.
If paying attention to chat. Anyway, so there's Kathy and I actually went out Saturday night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is a rarity to get that Dave goes out at all.
Yeah.
But there's a place called The Vault. It's in Berlin. And it's live music. And they do like it's cover music.
Sure.
And they have like Beatles. They play Beatles one weekend, and then they'll have like 70s group. So they'll play music from like the Who, the Led Zeppelin. Like this particular weekend, it was Elton John and Billy Joel.
Okay.
So for it was reasonably priced. It's a really small venue. It's probably, I mean, it was a small venue. I couldn't even get it. Like, think of the inside of a 7-Eleven and then put a stage at the end of it. That's about how big it is.
Okay.
They have like they have some places where you can sit, and then they have tables in the back. What was really cool though was that on those tables, like, it's BYOB.
Okay.
And it's BYOB and BYOF for food. You can bring anything in there, like cans of beer, fucking seltzers. People brought fucking the people we shared the table with. They had a spread of meats and cheeses, like legit. It was like, what the fuck? And Brian O'Connell was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you not realize this? Or
No, unplanned. The fact is, we were getting out of the car, and I saw him. Like, that's Brian O'Connell, and yeah, sure shit it was. He lives near there.
Yeah.
So
glad to hear he's still alive.
Yeah, no, he looks good.
Good.
He looks good.
This is a guy we used to fly with, for context.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been retired for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was there, and we chatted for a little bit before we went in.
Mm-hmm.
But cool little venue. I think it's the victorvault.com or something. You can see like what dates they have available. We're going in October. October, yeah, for the 70s one, because they have a good spread of like good 70s music, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. The musicians are really good. Like the guy who the saxophone player think of the Billy Joel songs. They have a lot of saxophone.
Yeah.
This sax player blew the doors off the place.
Oh,
It
yeah?
was like he was, yeah, it was really good. There, for the size of the place, and when there's like this stage, and it's at the same level you are, which I can't imagine sitting in there and then like being like in the front row, because I that dude playing the saxophone is closer to than us.
Wow.
All right, and I can't imagine sitting that close to a saxophone that's so loud that I'm hearing it fucking 15 yards away.
Yeah.
Like that.
Now, did they pause at any point to play Careless Whisper?
They did not.
No?
No. They
Then what's the point of even having a saxophone player there?
did not. It was Elton John and Billy Joel
Okay.
only.
All right.
I was a little disappointed in the set list. I'm not a big Elton John guy. But I'm really intimately familiar with Billy Joel's catalog.
Mm.
I was hoping for like, Italian Restaurant especially, because that would have been
For like deeper cuts.
yeah. That's not really even that deep a cut, but he played some stuff a little bit out of each kind of genre, like something off of Glass Houses, something off of The Stranger and everything. So.
All right.
So it was good. It was fun. We had a good time, and yeah. For next time, we know now though we can show up with bring our meats and cheeses and fucking like have a snack while we're in there.
Here's some good cheese.
I was thinking about it though. It's like it'd be the biggest dick move would be to bring like a bag of chips or something like that and be like crunching and shit. Not that it would matter because it's so loud in there. Like the venue's small enough where they're you're not talking to other people
Mm-hmm.
It'd be really difficult to disturb the room. But yeah, it was fun. We'll have to check out the lineup.
Sure.
And you'll have to see if there's somebody that you want to see.
What is
This is
why do I have
from the Vickers.
The sacred Jedi.
Need a
Stab it like this.
So I stab her 3 times? No, you don't stab her 3 times. Just stab her the once.
So this has been banging around in my trunk for like a month.
Really?
Yeah, that's why. Like we were talking, and in the middle of the conversation, I'm like, I gotta get something out of the car. I fucking got up and walked out because that's the shit that that happens. It's my brain. It's so big. I know. Ren and Stimpy. Fucking. Can you believe they let us watch that cartoon? Although that was probably later in our lives.
That was when we were like, at least when I was like 15, 16. My parents stopped caring. By the time I got to high school, my parents stopped giving 2 shits about me or anything that I did. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, it's taped shut. It's
Oh, so you need the knife again.
Yeah.
So we're gonna open this one. Because I'm pretty sure we have one.
Yeah.
Right?
Which I think, did you bring that one in?
I don't remember.
All right, well.
Yes?
Because I need to have Ian McDermott sign something. There you go.
Dude, so if you're a member in our
my God, come on.
our Discord channel, you see I have the Lego has like the throne room.
All right, so it's Palpatine in his throne. Good chair, good chair. Nice lumbar support. Great view of
Utter blackness.
and he's got some different faces. He's got his happy faces, his very serious face. He's got his shock hands, so you can swap his hands out with the shocks. This is fucking awesome. You said he's just donating this as a gift to the. Well, thank you, sir.
Gift to the studio here. Let me see it. Let's see what faces we got here.
Yeah.
Wonder if see if he's giving the middle finger like he is with the other ones.
Go fuck yourself.
Like, aw. That's the whole chair. So it makes you wonder, like, so the Lego version that I have going the throne room scene.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna set up with like a Christmas theme, for Christmas this year.
Right.
But I need to get an Imperial Guard so that I can recreate the, hey, Crayola, why don't you come over here with your staff of rod? Come get this. What if we could do the same thing? I'm sure you have somewhere. I'm sure you have. Yeah, there's one.
What are we looking at?
An Imperial Guard.
Oh yeah. And there's a couple up there, and well, they've fallen over, but
So last thing, and this is the thing I was like struggling to remember.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a Boeing guy.
Sure.
Right? Talk about all the airline stuff that's going on.
I know you've given Airbus some shit in private conversations we've had over the years.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys, if it's not Boeing, I'm not going. Right? And I was that guy for years.
Yeah.
But Boeing has had problems lately.
Yes, they have.
It's the 737 MAX is well documented with a couple of accidents that have killed 364 people.
Mm-hmm.
And other mishaps that aren't as well documented. And all the stuff with the KC-46 that I'm not going to get into.
Yeah.
There's a book that one of the pilots in the shop. He's an airline pilot. He flies the 737, and it was all about basically the entire, like basically why Boeing started to suck.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets into the gritty details of it.
Really?
Yeah, and it is fucking infuriating. Like as an aviator, as somebody who like fancies himself a aviation professional,
Mm-hmm.
it is fucking infuriating.
Let me take a wild guess. They made changes and cut corners to save money.
Well, there's so much more, and it goes so much further than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a whole backstory with like when the buy with McDonnell Douglas, when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was different management took over, and instead of where Boeing was like, hey, we're going to engineer an aircraft and that's our business.
Mm-hmm.
The McDonnell Douglas managers came in and said, this is a business that happens to make airplanes, and all their decisions were now made about the stockholders and everything else.
Right, exactly.
So buybacks and all this other shit. So
Yep.
what it was included in that was getting the FAA, like basically from the top down with the FAA. You had people that were like, instead of the FAA saying, all right, Boeing, you need to fix this, they were like, FAA was basically working for Boeing.
Jesus.
And it goes deeper and deeper into that. Apparently there's a Netflix special that's out that Nick told me is out there, and I haven't watched it yet, which I will.
Mm-hmm.
But that 737 Max, like just from a design perspective, I knew from my education that there's engineering issues and everything else. Like there was only so much you can do with the airplane. You know, you're going to stretch it so long, and you're going to do so much with the motors. Like it's, but they chose not to build another airplane. And then it's just not the same company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a shame because the Boeing products that we lived our lives on between the 135 and the 757.
Yeah.
Those things were fucking tanks.
135s are still flying.
Yeah. And they're going to fly for another 50 fucking years probably.
Yeah.
Because they sure shit this new thing they've built doesn't have that longevity.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been fine if it actually, I don't even get into it. But so adding to I guess the stress that I'm already fucking put myself under was this thing with fucking Boeing, and not only Boeing but the FAA.
Mm.
And just like how bad it was, how bad the policing was for the agency that was supposed to be making sure that things were safe was basically non-existent.
Yeah.
And it's just, but it explains a lot. It explains a lot of this, of why we're going through the things that we're going through.
Mm-hmm.
So that book took me like a few days to get through, because usually when I pick up a book, I'm through it in a few days, like just a book, like a hardcover.
Yeah.
I kept having to put this book down because I would get so fucking mad. And the pilot, I'd show up at work. He's like, how you doing with the book? I'm like, I had to stop last night. He's like, oh yeah, what part? And I'd say like, oh, it's when such and such took over from whatever. And he's like, oh yeah, me too. I had to stop reading it. And this poor dude, he's a 737 pilot, and he has to go fly these things for a fucking living.
Yeah.
So now I say all that. It's like inside baseball stuff, right? The reality is that the airplanes that you're flying on are still the safest. It's the safest mode of travel that exists. But I know what it was. And allegedly it's getting better. It's going back to what it should be. But I'll never have the same level of reverence for the company that I had before.
Yeah.
And it's not because Airbus is just making that much better of a product. It's because Boeing stopped making that good of a product.
Right. Yeah, it's like I was saying, at the end of the day, it's always about the money.
It is. Anyway, I should have finished with the Vickers gift because then it would have been like ending on a high. But yeah, God, reading that book, it's like, oh my God, so mad. Anyway,
so let's go talk about 3 astronauts that almost died.
Yeah, along the same lines, like when you're talking about hubris and building aircraft and things like that. Before we start doing that, though, I really need to pee.
All right,
let's take a pee break.
All right, you got the thing queued up for that?
I don't, but I will. Don't do that.
Sorry.
No, don't do that. All right.
It's been a long couple of weeks.
This one? All right. Yeah.
All right. So we'll be very, very back right after this quick word from our sponsors.
That was the worst.
I know.
Colt 45, it's a dynamite taste, it's a grin, it's a groove, it's a blast. Colt 45, it's a dynamite taste, it's a win, it's a definite blast. Colt 45, man, loaded with dynamite taste. So grab one, down one, get yourself around one. Colt 45, malt liquor, Colt 45, it's a dynamite taste.
So I use the WeatherBug app on my phone. Great app for weather forecasts and radar and things like that, for the simple person like myself. The only problem is I like to put in, like, I have my hometown, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, as like my current location is my main thing, but I put in other locations, places I either travel a lot to or that I had specific trips coming up for, just whatever. And that's cool and all, except I get notifications for every place. Like I know right now in California, there haven't been thunderstorms. Like, so my mom is sitting in the middle of a potential thunderstorm right now. They had a lightning strike within 10 miles of her house. The WeatherBug app told me. And then Hollywood, California also is dealing with some storms right now. But yeah, I get all these notifications all the time. Like, it's Orlando's the best. Orlando, it's thunderstorm.
Why do you get notifications for Orlando?
Well, if you were here 2 minutes ago when I was explaining to the people that I use the WeatherBug app, and I put in all these locations that I either frequent a lot or that I have trips planned to or whatnot, and now I get notifications for all of them. So, like, I just got notifications for California. They're having thunderstorms out there, which is good for them. They don't really get weather too often.
Yeah, I mean, need water.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all. God damn it. Yeah. Get that out of my system.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what would go really well right now? A Diet Dr. Thunder.
And, I opened the thing and looked at it. I was like, should I get something? Yeah, I'll take one. Oh, that's for Kristen. Yeah, it's a. Thank you. It is not real Lego, but it's Harry Potter.
Like Mega Blocks or something.
Yeah,
I see.
and I got duped. This is like fucking 6 months ago,
Mm.
and it's just been banging around, and I've been doing the Lego room thing, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, I gotta get rid of these. And Kathy was like, well, maybe Kristen would like the minifigures or something because it has all the minifigures in there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you could throw out the rest of it. I don't give a shit.
So it's funny because I actually just bought her a Jabba the Hutt Lego minifigure when I was in Chicago. She wanted me to bring her something. She wanted me to bring her a gift because I didn't bring her a gift the week before in Dallas, so I had to bring one this time. And
Jason.
And I'm looking everywhere for shit she's interested in. She's been in like She-Ra lately. A lot of other nostalgic stuff that we used to enjoy as youngsters, and I couldn't find any of that stuff. But I know she also likes Jabba the Hutt, so I found a little Lego minifigure Jabba the Hutt, and I bought her that, and she's got it on her desk.
Nice. That's not an easy one to find. That Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, could be a knockoff for all I know. It was one of those tables where they have just like a long table with minifigures all over it.
If it looks good, who cares?
It looks great.
Yeah. So it's only people that are super nerdy into it that get worried about being a knockoff.
All right. Well, if you're ready, give us a countdown.
Here it goes. Right. Oh, that's the other one.
Yeah, we got to find some new hold music.
Yeah, right. Oh, it should just be hold music.
Yeah, like the shit from the phone.
What was that? That was a.
Hold on. No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I'm trying to think of what it was. I think it was from Archer. Like it was Archer and Burt Reynolds were in the elevator, and that was the whole music. That was the elevator music I was playing.
Oh, I don't know.
God, that's so fucking random. You didn't do, and we're back.
I did not. Sorry.
There you go.
No, I was looking for that typical hold music, the one that's always on whenever you call somebody and you get on hold.
Oh God. I bet you if you Googled like TRICARE hold music, something would come up.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So anyway, we are back and we are ready to talk about some Apollo 13.
Yes, we are.
So let's get some of the movie details out of the way first. The movie. Yeah, so the movie came out June 30th, 1995.
95.
Yeah, so this came out like 3 weeks after I graduated high school.
3 weeks later.
Yeah, so, and this was never on my radar of things to watch. I had seen, all the trailers, all the previews. It was pretty hyped up, for its theatrical release and everything.
Right.
But for some reason, I never had the desire to go watch it. Couldn't tell you why. I had nothing against it, but it just wasn't my thing at the time. At the time, I was very much more interested in, chasing girls, trying to get through college, and about to join the military. So,
yeah, I mean, those are all things, but
So, now I'm sure you probably saw it when it first came out.
I did. And then I subsequently got it on DVD and watched it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Because honestly, if I am a I am a child of an era that I watched The Right Stuff. Have you seen The Right Stuff?
I have not.
So I watched The Right Stuff like I watched it almost like I was too young to watch it, probably,
Sure.
because there were people like in my parents' generation that had watched it, and that was kind of their motivation to go join the military and become pilots and that type of stuff.
Mm.
So me seeing it, and I didn't necessarily understand it a lot, but it was the crossover for like, okay, here's test pilots, here's Chuck Yeager breaking sound barrier, all that stuff, and then it kind of transitions over to the Mercury guys and like how that starts.
Yeah.
It's actually very. I don't know if you'd like it, to be honest, but it's a good movie, because it does that. It touches on both, like, that historical aviation perspective, and then it, like, those people, those same test pilots, it transitions over into those test pilots as they become the Mercury astronauts and the Gemini astronauts, and
Okay.
all the way up.
Yeah.
So The Right Stuff was just, I saw the movie, I read the book, it's a fairly famous book as well, which I don't know when that came out. When did that come out?
The Right Stuff book.
Yeah.
I will look that up.
I have an old copy of it. I think it was hand-me-down from my dad. But that's
1979.
yeah, that's probably, that sounds right. Where was I going with this? Oh,
Well,
seeing the movie.
Right.
So this movie was kind of touted as, there was a level of realism in this movie that was going just unprecedented,
Mm.
and that was the draw for me.
Right.
It was like, I was familiar with the Apollo 13 story, not nearly as familiar as I sit here right now, because it did me some search, but the drama and the telling of the story, and just the weightlessness scenes and like all that stuff, is that level of realism, and just you could almost put yourself in that position, like you're flying in space.
Yeah.
How is it that Tom Hanks was not in space?
Right.
With this movie.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I'll give this movie is it's very timeless. It takes place at a specific period of time, but I think you could watch this movie 20 years from now,
Right.
and it still hold up.
Well,
And
because those scenes, those weightless scenes, they did in the vomit comet.
yeah,
And
the 135s.
Yeah, and so they were weightless
Yep.
for it. So
And that just goes to show you practical effects, how much better they can be than
Yeah.
CG stuff.
yeah, CG, AI, a practical effect is timeless.
Yeah.
We talk about it in Star Wars. The ships that are are actually there.
Yeah.
There's something about the depth of that that you can is visceral, that you can tell.
Yep.
It's good as CGI can be. Like, you can just tell.
Yeah.
And you got all of that from this movie. And I think what it did too is, I'd go out and say that it brought a lot of non-space people, like, the Tom Hanks kind of people that are like into Tom Hanks movies, and because he was at his peak, during this. Like,
Oh,
if
yeah.
Tom Hanks was in something, like, he was in everything.
Because I think he was just a year removed from Forrest Gump and
Right.
fucking
He did Toy Story.
yeah,
Like, he was the guy.
yeah,
And so him being involved in it, and Kevin Bacon, and you had a lot of big names in this.
Mhm.
So that it wasn't something that's like, oh god, this is just going to be some space movie.
yeah.
And I think you have the numbers on what it did.
Oh yeah, box office wise, so it cost $50 million to make. Now in 1995, that's a pretty good chunk of money, $50 million budget, and ended up pulling in $355 million. So made its money back and then some. But yeah, pretty pricey movie to make. But again, with the effects and everything that they did, it was you could see where the money went, and it was money well spent.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You can I've watched this movie. I've watched this movie probably close to 100 times.
Holy shit.
This was one of my go-to movies, like on a jet.
Yeah.
When I needed something in the background just to kind of keep me awake.
Yeah.
I'd run it in a window, like on the desktop.
Yeah.
And I'd just have it in a corner when I had the radio panels up. And I'd have it going.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I don't need to see it necessarily to even, I'd just be listening to it because I could see it.
Well, for me, I've only ever sat down and watched it from start to finish one time, and that was as I was getting ready for this. But I've seen random scenes from it, throughout the years, bits and pieces here and there. So I'm still somewhat familiar with the movie. It's not like it was brand new to me.
Right.
Sorry. So, but yeah, it was in 2025, sitting down, watching it on my iPad at the airport. It was still very engaging. And that's the cool thing about this movie is we all know the ending, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to make a movie as compelling and engaging as they did with this, knowing that we know the ending, was pretty fucking good.
Yeah, and one of the things that, I know you said you didn't take notes, but when you're talking about this, like how Hollywood was the movie, right? How much did they change of what happened to make it, into this however long movie it was, this hour and a half, and there was not significant portions, but there was definitely some differences to what actually had happened, throughout the timeline. I don't think there was anything that would have that just purely negates what you saw.
Right.
One of the big things, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So this movie starts with Apollo 1. Right? So start with the fire.
Yeah.
All right. What do you know about the fire?
Basically that, they got trapped in the cockpit, couldn't get out, and
right. So
died in the fire.
Yeah. So Tom Hanks talks about it, right? They give a blurb about this in the movie where he's talking to his son. And it's kind of like this juxtaposition, right? That conversation doesn't happen about the door.
Right.
Like that's just the concern that they're talking about. The change in plan about going to the moon. That was Apollo 8, not Apollo 13. So the timing of when that would have went.
So wait, what do you mean the change in plan?
So how in the beginning when they're supposed to be going on vacation and he says, "Oh no."
Oh yeah, because he was supposed to be on 14, and he got bumped to 13.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was they actually. The Apollo 8 mission going to the moon was the big change.
Oh, okay.
Like them changing their plans. They were supposed to go to Acapulco, and that changed because they ended up going to the moon.
Yeah.
So that was there for dramatic effect.
Sure.
It happened, but it didn't happen in the time that they were talking about. So it's things like that. It's stuff that happened in the timeline.
So, because I guess my bigger question is when it comes to the real technical stuff and like all the shit that went wrong, starting with, them having to make the crew change before it even took off, to You know, what happened when they cycled the oxygen tanks to the fucking carbon dioxide filters, and what was the other problem they had? Because it was just like problem after problem that they had. They had to, these fucking smart ass guys on the ground all had to figure out and come up with solutions for.
So if we start with the first problem they had on the rocket itself, when they were taking off, and that first stage where they lost the number 5. That was like the first problem, which ended up not being any sort of effect.
Right.
The Saturn V had this issue where it would do this thing that's called pogoing, and these clever motherfuckers, man. So when the Saturn V first flew, the pogo that would happen was severe. This is when it was still unmanned.
Yeah.
And so what they did, it ended up being like the fuel. They needed the fuel mixture the way it was causing an unbalance. So as it was like draining fuel and the weight was changing, it was like this starting to like bounce like this.
And what was bouncing off of what during this?
Like the actual like rocket itself was like the stages were kind of
I see what you're saying.
bouncing.
Yeah.
So like it was like one stage was kind of pogoing into the other.
Okay.
Which is causing a vibration, right? Which was pretty significant.
Yeah.
So the fix for that was kind of like, think of it almost like an OBIG system, where they put helium in the system to create pressure, and then that pressure would basically would take that and it'd fill the tank as it was emptying, so there wouldn't be any place for that to go.
Gotcha.
Like there would be no void. In Apollo 13, there was some slight pogoing, but then it kind of dissipated after it was a few seconds. Not causal to any of it, but just kind of a gee whiz thing. All this is all the stuff they're thinking about, like when the rocket launches.
Yeah.
Like you kind of these rocket launches, and you think of how there's so many people. Like, what the fuck are all these people watching? And there's like, if you think about how many systems there were operating at any given time on the Saturn V, between the Saturn V and the Odyssey and the Aquarius, you're talking 5 to 7 million individual systems that are everything has to kind of go, and there's redundancies and there's all these other things.
Yeah.
All these motherfuckers are sitting there watching these numbers, and they're trying to be ahead of the curve on it. So when some shit like that happens, they're problem solving in that real time as they're going and climbing to get to 17,500 feet,
right,
or miles per hour. So that issue was real, and the conversation about that was our Lovell did say that was our glitch for the mission. And yeah, so the stirring of the tanks.
Yeah.
Right. So what was wrong with the system, right? What did the movie get right? Well, what happened to the tank was Dave's going deep. And I apologize. So you're familiar, remember the oxygen tanks on the 135?
Oh yeah.
So think of something about the same size, the ones that were in that rack in the center. So you have, I have this oxygen tank, and it has multiple walls because it's holding such a large amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And inside there, because it's cryogenically, it's kept at a certain temperature because they're using the oxygen in such a way to create their power and everything else. Like it is a multi-use system, and they have to be able to keep it at a certain temperature. So in order to do that, they actually have heaters built into the oxygen tank.
Oh,
Which is counterintuitive, right? Like,
Yeah.
where the fuck why would you want something that potentially could create fire to be in this vessel that contains 100% oxygen,
right.
right? It's basically it's a bomb.
Yeah.
And knowing that, when they built and engineered it, they engineered it with the thermostat switch. And that thermostat switch was supposed to prevent it from, if it got to a certain point, that it would not allow the heating elements to kick on.
Mm.
Well, as it turns out, that oxygen bottle number 2, was in another, like, this was command module number 109,
Right.
right? It was supposed to be in command module 108 or 106, and they had to change something out. So they had to take it, when they took it out for inspection, they inadvertently damaged the bottle.
Oh.
And they didn't realize it, because what was happening, and they were kind of re-engineering the system, and there's the Teflon coating on the wires when they were activating, the Teflon coating from the wires that were going to the thermostat
Mm-hmm.
was a weak point. So, okay, they take this bottle out and they put something else in 106. 109 goes into Apollo 13, right? And the way they have to replace it, it's like a whole shelf, not just the tank. Like, you can't just take the bottle out. You have to, like, replace this whole fucking segment.
Mm-hmm.
So they do that. They put it on 13, and it's already kind of has a weakness in it.
Yeah.
When they put it in. Then one of the things that they were supposed to change that they didn't with Apollo 13, they didn't, again, deep, guys, deep. The power coming off of the gantry going into the Saturn V,
Mm-hmm.
they were getting 68 volts that was coming off of that, right?
Right.
So 68 volts is coming into the jet or into the rocket, and that voltage would go in and would power everything. Like, the system was designed for 28 volts.
Okay.
So when they were attached to ground power, they're getting all this extra voltage, which it was being handled through most of it.
Yeah.
But these thermostats had a weakness for it, and that's when the Teflon would start to melt. Well, because this tank, before it went into 109, had gotten damaged, it was overlooked to get re-inspected and have this modification done. So they put it in there thinking it was like, okay, this one's good, because externally it looked nothing wrong with it,
Right.
but internally it was already flawed.
Mm-hmm.
So then hook it up to the gantry. It doesn't have the appropriate things to keep it from taking all 68 volts. And now you have the Teflon melting off of the open wire.
Mm.
And now it's just waiting. Now it's just waiting for the opportunity to arc.
Yeah.
And so all this is happening kind of in the background. They get airborne. They're motoring towards fucking the moon. And one of the things they have to do occasionally, and it's built into the checklist at certain points. It's not just like a one-time thing.
Yeah.
It's not. It certainly wasn't arbitrary. Is to stir those cryo tanks, because they need to stir the liquid in there because of the temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
So the act of actually stirring them and applying the heater. Now that circuit, that's when it was all right. It reached its point where it's like, okay, now we're going to arc.
Yeah.
And then it arcs inside the bottle. The bottle explodes. Grenade exploding takes out the bottle next to it, because in the design, like unfortunately we've seen in airplane designs, like, yeah, you have redundancy, but you build it right next to the other thing.
Yeah.
So now you start losing the systems. One of the things that there is some divergence to me from, I read further backstory. I've read Jim Lovell's book about Apollo 13, the one he wrote. I've read Gene Kranz's book about Apollo 13. I've read a historian's account of what happened during Apollo 13. So I've got multiple sources.
Yeah.
The Jack Swigert conflict with Fred Hayes kind of thing.
Oh, where it was bitching about like did you check the gauge or whatever before you cycled the tanks?
Right. That was amped up for the movie.
Right.
Because even in the transcripts, like you see, there's a couple of moments where it does get heated, but not heated. Like heated is more like it's super passive aggressive. It's not like the way it got in there.
Sure.
The way it's portrayed in the movie, it really wasn't like that. But the timeline of it, like when you hit at certain hour marks, that timing of it is correct.
Okay.
And they actually take from the transcript, like, Houston, we have a problem. Because what's funny is, like, people only remember Tom Hanks saying that line, right? But in reality, it's Jack Swigert that says it first.
Right.
Because what happens is on the air to ground loop, he says after the bang, right? He gets the main bus V undervolt, and he says, "Houston, we got a problem."
Right.
Right, and then Capcom says back, like, "Say again," and then that's when Jim Lovell comes on and says, "Houston, we have a problem."
Yeah.
And so, but the movie, the way it's portrayed, it's like, okay, this is just Lovell, like, and this is his line.
Right.
Now, granted, he is the commander, so it's commander's prerogative, but he wasn't the first person to say that they had a problem.
Right.
He just happened to be the person that said it with more emphasis, and then started to go into like other things that were going on.
Is there a recording of that?
Yeah.
The original, like,
they have like cockpit voice recorders.
Oh yeah.
Right. What's fascinating, here's what's really cool. So, and people don't know this. When they were on the Apollo missions, if they wanted to send something to Earth and not have it be picked up on like the air to ground, so that they could, like, say, have a conversation with the flight doc, they would record it on the tapes and then transmit the tapes down.
Really?
So like basically the CVR, they would be like, they would put something on those tapes and then transmit that data down, and then and then they would, like, say, you read the transcript, like, to say, and they'd be like, hint at, hey, hey, if the flight surgeon could, view the tapes, and see blah 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 blah.
Right.
They'd be real nonchalant about it, because everything they say, and you see it throughout the movie, right? What you have it that thing where Hanks is on the crap and 8-ball right in front of me, right? And then, sorry, we're on Vox.
Yeah.
That's not really how that went. They did have an issue where they were, with the gimbal lock, and there was a back and forth there.
Yeah.
However, that was, like, drawn out over a longer period. and NASA was super sensitive about even like frapping was like too hard of a word. Like no, that's like they had to censor themselves to like rated G
Wow.
for everything, and everything that they said to the ground, because the press had 2 seats in the control room in Houston. Right. They squawk boxes that family members had, like those boxes that you see like in the movie.
Yeah.
That was a real thing.
Oh, okay.
They really had those boxes, and anything that was going on, like on the air to ground, they could hear real time.
Huh.
And for Apollo 13, it was real time. There was early on, they had a delay built in, like a 7-second delay, so that they could, like if something bad happened, they could stop it. For Apollo 1, this happened.
Yeah.
And NASA like made a hard break. Like, nope, we're not going to do this anymore. Like, we want to be as transparent as we possibly can. So when you're getting it the same time we're getting it.
Okay.
Type thing. So squawk boxes were real. And I don't think there was as many of them as they portray in the movie. Like it was like, oh, hey, here's this one in the family room,
right?
Or here's
right.
this one in the kitchen. But they were definitely real.
Huh.
That was a real thing.
Okay. So God, let me go back to.
Yeah, ask me questions, because otherwise I'll go minute by minute.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, because I don't really give a shit about, when it comes to the movie itself, I don't give a shit about like the family drama, him and his kids.
Which it really wasn't.
No, they kept it to a minimum in the movie, but again, I don't really care to even comment on any of that stuff because, again, just don't give a shit.
Right.
So the guy on the ground, Krantz?
Gene Krantz.
Yeah. So the Ed Harris character.
Yep.
Was he
brilliantly portrayed, by the way?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because this performance was fucking awesome by Ed Harris.
Yes.
Because I loved the character, because he, no matter how crazy all the shit got, he was still like focused, cool, calm, and sometimes he had to get a little firm.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, he was, the most collected guy in the room, while everybody else is just fucking like, we got to do this, we got to do this.
The Gene Krantz's story, like he was a pilot himself.
Right.
Right. When he started he was one of the original kind of flight directors, like when NASA was starting. So do you know who Chris Kraft is?
No.
Chris Kraft was the god of flight directors, right? He at the time of this was happening, he was what was he? He was like the chief of operations, basically, for chief of flight operations for NASA.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Kraft was, but Chris Kraft originally was the first flight director.
Yeah,
and Chris Kraft and Gene Krantz and a couple other guys they established what the protocol was for flight directors.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that they did was they established that the flight director, like when the mission was going, flight director's word was it.
Right.
They ran everything. So it didn't matter like if some higher up came and wanted something, like it had to go through the flight director.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it. And having that absolute stop before it got to somewhere else, that position power like was super important for controlling some of the chaos.
Yes.
And at the time, Krantz was the number one flight director. Kraft had moved up, so Krantz was the number one guy. Like the white team was the number one like team.
Mm-hmm.
And even his team wasn't supposed to be like in the same rotation for Apollo 13.
Right.
But once the mishap happened, like his white team actually became the Tiger team. And it's the white team that actually did a lot of like the backroom stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The white team was doing a lot of the problem solving and working stuff, while the gold team and was it gold and It was gold, black. I don't know, 3 other teams.
Mm-hmm.
And all those. So each flight director had all their own controllers, and basically, once those people came in, you high-fived, and then fucking that was it. The next person sat in the seat, and they drove,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what station they were in. So it was very important that things like this is what is established. These are the rules, and this is what we're going to go by. Here's the mission rules. This is how this is going to go.
Yeah, and it was good. It's probably saved their lives. Having that.
The vest thing that they talk about,
Mhm.
that was a real thing.
Oh, no shit.
The timing of it, the way they showed it in the movie was different, but it was a real thing. The vest.
Okay. So after the initial explosion, there's the talk of shutting down the fuel cells.
Right. Well, they're shutting. They have to shut down. Finish your thought.
Well, because I'm just curious, like, is this, for real how it happened in real life? The shutting of the 3 fuel cells, or 2 of the 3 fuel cells.
Yeah. So the fuel cells were dependent on the oxygen.
Yeah.
Right. So
because they thought initially that was going to stop the leak, right?
That's not really technically how that happened.
Okay.
They did have to shut the Odyssey down. They had to shut the command module down.
Yeah.
But the reason they had to do it was once the command module, like the oxygen got to a certain point and it was only going to be able to support so much power, it was going to revert to the batteries that were built into the command module.
Oh, okay.
Right. And those batteries were designed for only running while the aircraft was getting basically in descent to come back in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So they were the fact that they only were set up for like a couple hours to run enough amps to be able to get you safely home, fire the pyros for the parachutes and all that.
Yeah.
So as far as the oxygen supply and your power, the second you started draining from that system means that you are losing that time with the ability to recover.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things they had to shut down was the connection to that system so that they could save whatever was left in those batteries.
Okay.
The fuel cells were dying regardless.
Yeah.
The batteries and what they were maintaining with the amperage and everything else. I'll say that the way they told the amperage story isn't really like the numbers that they were quoting and everything else. Like the numbers were closer to like 43 amps, not fucking
like 20,
like what they were talking about running the toaster and shit like that.
Yeah.
They had way more. Like in real life, they had more of a margin.
Okay, well that's good because it was pretty damn dramatic in the movie.
Well, and it as it should be. Like the engineers found ways to operate in the margins, but it was not because it just happened.
Right.
It was all because going to the backroom guys and getting the engineers. Like when Gene Kranz says, I want the guy who made the part that goes into the part that makes this, like that whole speech, right? They were doing that. Guys were at the plant in Bethpage where they made the LEM, where, that parking lot was full after people saw the news, and like all the people that made all the things were there.
Yeah.
Like, what do we need to be doing? Like anybody that had anything to do with building these systems, from North American or from McDonnell Douglas was there, and they were using that brain power, to be able to do it. And they were sleeping in back rooms. Like the Tiger team, they basically didn't leave until like I think just it was 24 hours prior where Gene Kranz sent them home, like to get some sleep. That's the other thing too, like that whole free return trajectory conversation, like that seemed like it took them a while and argued back and forth about it.
Yeah.
That decision was made pretty quickly.
Huh.
they knew that, like, okay, here's what the options are. Like, you and I both know that, like, the emergency scenarios, like, you pull out your quick reference and it's like, okay, here's this and this.
Yeah.
Right. It's the same. It was the same for them. They're like, okay, here's these scenarios, and the free return was the most obvious one, and that was selected well in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so the consternation about that whole thing, that they inserted that drama.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't a thing.
Because that was going to be another question of mine. But all right. So the carbon dioxide,
Yes.
CO2 cartridges.
Yep.
How close was that to reality?
That the making of the
They call it the Rube Goldberg device.
yeah, so the carbon dioxide, it was identified. It's tough because the way the movie kind of identifies things, it forces a timeline. It isn't necessarily correct, but it's also a moving timeline, right?
Yeah.
Because you know that the timeline's kind of like, it's like an accordion with how they have to do the movie, and it's not like hitting the exact hour marks.
Sure.
So it was they knew it was going to be a problem. The systems people it was their job to pay attention to that, kind of had an idea that this was going to be a problem, so that they started thinking about it. And then the guy who ultimately, like, had the idea, like, he was driving in to the building, like, to the engineering building, to get where the parts were, because they had to go to, like, a lab where they had all the parts that they would have in the spacecraft.
Yeah.
And while he was driving there, he was kind of assembling it in his head.
Oh, okay.
And then when he got there, it was like, all right, because while they were doing that, they had to write down the checklist to be able to build it. And, all that stuff came together, and it's like, okay, it's time for us to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other things that the movie doesn't do, what the movie does is they make the crew like their crew doesn't sleep.
Right. Because that's a big story point later on, is because the flight doc keeps telling them, you got to let them sleep. You got to make them sleep.
Yeah. Sleep, don't get me wrong. Like, it was definitely marked in there were periods where they were concerned about them sleeping because they were not sleeping as much as they should.
Mm-hmm.
But there were periods where they would go, and it would just be like, Fred Hayes would be in the LEM by himself, because the other two would be trying to sleep, and they get like 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have a 3-hour rest period, and they get like 40 minutes of actual, like, sleep. But the drama there was actually, like, time when they were, like, by themselves. It was just them and Capcom.
Yeah.
So much so that later on, something that they don't even get to in the movie is when battery number 2 explodes. So
explodes.
Yeah. So one of the not emergencies, but one of the things that happens to Apollo 13 in real life on the way back is Fred Hayes is, he's on the con. The other two guys are asleep, and there's suddenly a bang, which, according to him, was very similar to what they experienced. The bang sounded like the same bang that happened, but just not as violent.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks out the window, and it's not. They were worried about a helium disc, like, you hear him talk about burst disc.
Yeah.
So that's a whole conversation. Like, that one mention is really a whole fucking point, talking point. But this battery explodes, and so the LEM, it ends up being a non-factor, but it adds a period of drama that Fred Hayes is like, he's the only person awake for it.
Right.
So, like, this battery thing happens, and then they're like talking about having to do this additional burn, which is another another thing. So using the descent engine for the burns, right?
Mm-hmm.
They powered up the LEM more than it lets on.
Oh.
Like the movie gives you the impression that, like, especially that second time when he's like keeping the earth in the window,
Mm-hmm.
that whole thing, Lovell actually came up with that procedure in Apollo 8.
Really?
Yeah, so there's a during Apollo 8, like, Lovell was the navigator for that.
Mm-hmm.
And on their way back from the moon, there was they were doing a maneuver. I think it was part of the PTR maneuver where they were doing the rotisserie chicken thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Not really, but
So, in order for the spacecraft to maintain a even temperature, they do this thing where it kind of rolls.
oh, like for the sunlight?
Huh?
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So, anyway, he said during Apollo 8 he would use like the moon and the Earth and the sun as the navigation aids, and he kind of developed this checklist. And he says in Apollo 8, and I have it, like, it was in the transcript from Apollo 8. Hang on. He said, a commander in the future may need that someday.
And wouldn't you know,
Yeah.
he was the one.
Yep. So that procedure, like keeping the earth in the window and stuff, was like, they knew that was coming. So it was like, okay, well, let's run this part of the checklist. Like, there was a lot more of the checklist flushed out. But there also was a lot that wasn't.
Yeah.
But they turned on Odyssey at one point to see if it was going to turn on, like, and to make sure that basically the gimbals were going to unfreeze, because they were worried about that.
Yeah, because in the movie they made it sound like they weren't powering it up until
that very
had
end.
to.
Yeah, they didn't do that. They powered it up ahead of time because they had enough in the margins where they could spare that power.
Okay.
They did the umbilical, and they were, sharing power from the LEM into the command module.
Sure.
They did all that, but their power margins were a lot bigger than the movie lets on.
Okay.
Again, dramatic effect.
Yeah. There was a point towards the end where they had mentioned that the heat shield was potentially damaged or compromised.
Yes.
Was that legit?
It was a concern.
Yeah. And did it go down like it did in the movie where they basically didn't tell the crew?
No, the crew, they kind of, the conversation, once they reported it down, the crew had it in their mind the same time that they had it on the ground.
Oh, okay.
That conversation you're thinking of is they were shallowing a bit more. It wasn't about the heat shield.
Okay.
It was about them being a little bit more shallow.
Right.
And he said, "Is there anything we can do about it?" At this point.
Yeah, and they said no.
So, in Lovell's biography, he doesn't mention that at all. But they also did more than just that one burn. So they did the burn that got him around the moon. They did another burn of the descent engine. That burn after the descent engine is about the 106-hour mark, ish. Fault my memory.
Yeah.
After that, it was a PC +2 burn, and then they had that other burn, that correction burn, because they kept shallowing out. And after that happened, that the whole thing with the helium disk, what the helium was doing again was keeping pressure in the fuel system, because it was a hypergolic system, right? There's no fuel pump. It relied solely on the mixture of the fuel to create the explosion.
Okay.
So it needed to have pressure behind it to mix, and then once it mixed, it boom,
Okay.
it creates an explosion. Less moving parts, less things to fail, but you need to have that, like, so they have that helium pressure behind it. And the problem was if that helium disk went, which they kind of knew what would happen because of pressurization issues.
Mhm.
If that went before they could fire that engine, then they wouldn't have enough back pressure to be able to get the engine started to actually fire.
Right.
So it was important that they did that burn before that fucking helium disk burst. So they did. They got that burn going. It was like a 15-second long burn. Everything they talked about how many feet per second they have to increase.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, we need this burn to be 15 feet per second. We need this burn to be 32 feet per second. Like, that's the increments that they were talking in.
Yeah.
And after that, if they needed to do another burn, if they needed to do another course correction, they'd have to just use the attitude jets.
Right.
So basically, what they were steering with, they'd have to like put this 30-second long burst to use it as to change trajectory enough, and which is what they ended up having to do.
Yeah.
And so that element of drama they didn't include. The ballast thing was real. They had to move they didn't have moon rocks, so that stuff had to come over.
Right.
But it wasn't related. They didn't equate that to the shallowing thing. Like they made that connection in the movie, but like to hear Lovell's telling of it and others, those things weren't connected. It was a matter of fact.
Mm-hmm.
They knew they were going to be 100. The expectation was that they would have enough rocks for 100 pounds.
Okay.
They expected 100 pounds of moon rocks. They didn't have it, so they had to basically take the cameras. They took a bunch of shit, and like, okay, Houston told them exactly what they needed to take.
Right.
Because they knew exactly how much things weighed. So they said, take this. It wasn't random.
Right.
Which makes sense, right? Because we lived in this world. Like, it's like, no, this is exactly what you're going to take because this is what this weighs, and you're going to put it in this spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Weight and balance.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
So that's what they were doing with that. Fun fact, and something they don't talk about in the movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
The Apollo 13 had experiments on board that they were supposed to leave on the moon that had nuclear fuel to power them. And there were, I want to say it was the evening before that they were landing, maybe inside 24 hours. The Atomic Energy Commission was kind of pinging about, like, hey, we need to make sure that this uranium, even though it's encased in this thing, we got to make sure that if it's going to come through the atmosphere, it's going to go someplace where nobody can get it.
Right.
Because it was uranium basically they pulled out of a reactor.
Yeah.
To be able to use that as an RTG to make these experiments work.
Mm.
And so that conversation was happening. Like when they released the lunar module, it had to be released at a certain point so that it would fall in a deep part of the Pacific. Like I think if it got through the atmosphere, it was going to fall like someplace south of New Zealand or something.
Okay.
It was a conversation, but yeah, that was a whole part of it that the movie doesn't cover.
Huh. Yeah. Now here's a question, and this is just my blatant ignorance, but did we ever go back to the moon after this?
Yeah.
After Apollo 13?
Yeah, you had 14 through 17.
They all went?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So by the time this happened, they had already canceled Apollo 20. Because it was up to 20 is what they were looking at.
Right.
So they'd already canceled 20. When this happened, they canceled 18 and 19.
Okay.
But up to 17, it was pretty much already, that money was already spent.
Right.
So they were like, all right, since this money's already spent, they had to do some fixes to make sure that Apollo 13 doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
But the timelines for that, I mean, the last lunar landing was in 1972, I think.
So before we were born.
Yeah. Yeah, the last Apollo capsule and the last Saturn V launch that happened was in 1975.
Okay.
It was the Space Lab. Or no. In 75 was Soyuz. Yes. 75 was Soyuz.
Okay.
So Deke Slayton was actually, that was the only time he got to fly was in that one.
Huh.
You hear Deke Slayton's name in Apollo 13, like
Yeah.
There's a whole backstory for him too. Like I could get into that, but that's a biography for another time.
Right. So all of this inside knowledge, all of this knowledge that you have of what really happened with Apollo 13, that doesn't really hurt your experience with the movie at all?
No, not at all.
No? Okay.
No, I mean, it's like you said, the ending is still the ending.
Yeah.
Right? They made it. It doesn't, the efforts that were made on the ground, I think the only thing that, if I were involved in this from a NASA perspective or as an astronaut, the only thing that I would be disappointed in is they did a lot more piloting than it gives them credit for.
Oh yeah.
Like you have the one instance where Lovell's like maneuvering the spacecraft and he's like, I can't null this thing out.
Yeah, where it was all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens fairly early on where he's trying to where they're trying to figure out the new CG because they're flying basically with the with the service module and everything else on the back.
Yeah.
But they have to do all these things that they're doing. They're not just following checklists. I mean, they have to a fair bit of like hand flying.
Yeah.
They have to do. And the decision trees that they're running on the ground, they're also running up in the spacecraft as well. Like they're as intimately familiar with everything. It's like any other crew member, right? You as a crew member, you know so much about the airplane that you're in.
Yeah.
And the people that are maintaining it, there's exponentially more people to know the same thing that you know. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Like there's 4 maintainers to know this thing that you need to know.
Yeah.
Right? That's a difference. That's the difference. And it's the same with this. Like making decisions and understanding like what's behind the switch to be able to ask a question about like, hey, did this get tested? Right? There were certain procedures where Lovell would go back and forth asking questions that would happen in real life. Like, okay, what about this? What about this? What about this? Like, systems wise.
Yeah.
Like making sure that all this shit was rung out and asking the right questions. So I don't think the crew gets like from the movie's perspective, I don't think the crew gets enough credit. I think they make Swaggart kind of look a little bit goofy, where he contributed a lot more.
That was Kevin Bacon's character?
Yeah.
Yeah. The womanizer?
Right. The tax thing was kind of legit. Didn't happen quite the way they portray in the movie.
Right.
But he definitely like said in the background during the communication, he's like, this is before the explosion. He had said it. And it was kind of in the background about the tax thing. Said the thing about the Vox. The other thing with the crew, the Swagger gave me the clap. Like, that's bullshit.
Right.
Well,
didn't one of them in real life get like a UTI or something?
So what happened to Fred Hayes is he basically got a real bad infection from being dehydrated.
Okay.
They stopped drinking water Like they weren't allowed to. They mentioned it in the movie, and it was fairly subtle.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, if they did their um, overboard urine dump,
Mm-hmm.
even that little bit of pressure could potentially push them off course a little bit.
Right.
So they stopped them from doing their urine dumps.
Right.
Right. So one of the things they rather than bag up their urine, they stopped drinking. But that's not the only reason they stopped drinking. Like the actual potable water was in short supply.
Yeah.
Because water was a byproduct of their energy system.
Mm-hmm.
So without that running, then getting potable water was going to be harder.
Okay.
So they stopped drinking water, and even Fred Hayes in one of the books, I forget which one, where Fred Hayes talks about like he when the fever came, he knew what had happened. Like he's like the flight doc before they flew said, here's what's the dangers are of getting dehydrated. Is the first thing you're going to notice is the fever, and then you're going to have pain during urination, and yada yada yada. So that's what happened. Like he got the cold or whatever, he got fever, he got sick and got feverish, and that all was legit.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole getting a clap from Swiggert's piss tube is
Well, and I think he even said that as a joke in the movie. It seemed like it.
yeah. That's not the kind of see. I don't like that kind of joke in that scenario. I mean, the guys died, so Swigert. None of those guys flew again.
Right.
Lovell retired afterwards. You hear it in the epilogue, right?
Yeah.
He did work. Lovell actually worked in the shuttle program for a little bit before he left and went into the civilian world.
Mm-hmm.
Fred Hayes, oh God, I forget where he ended up. But Swigert actually he ran for office. He ran for a Senate seat, lost, and then he ended up running again a couple years later for a House seat. He won. But before he could get inaugurated, it turns out he had this this brain tumor, and it fucking killed him.
Right.
Before he could get before the inauguration.
Yeah, they mentioned that in the movie.
Yeah. So what was the question?
I don't think there was one.
Swigert. I don't know. I just.
Oh yeah, getting the clap.
Yeah, I just don't like that even being a potential thing out there. It should be more about like the dehydration. Oh, and the fucking removal of the biosensors.
Oh yeah.
Lovell did take off his biosensors. The way he describes it, it's not really as dramatic.
Right.
He woke up from a nap and was like tired of like the glue that had it on was just so unbearably itchy.
Oh.
That he's like, fuck this. Like, I know how tired I am. I don't need somebody on the ground telling me how tired I am and questioning my decisions because they're looking at what my heart rate is.
Sure.
So he ripped it off. In his words.
One thing about the movie was Bill Paxton. Like, I love Bill Paxton. I think he was a great actor. Like, not like super talented, but
yeah,
he was that character actor that he always
he played a kind of a not a hillbilly, but just somebody of modest upbringing and
yeah. But like I couldn't see past the actor in this. Like I couldn't picture him as an astronaut. I'm like, no, that's Bill Paxton doing Bill Paxton stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
but the rest of it was fine.
Yeah, I guess another big thing that they movie-tized was Ken Mattingly's. So the whole thing with the measles was legit.
Mm-hmm.
They did it like 3 days before the fucking launch.
Yeah.
It was, devastating from a crew perspective. But like him being in the sim for like so much of the problem solving, that was a oversimplification. There were hundreds of people working that.
Yeah.
Like not just him. He did like for proving out like the actual like going through the checklist and just kind of like making sure it worked.
Mm-hmm.
He did go in the sim for that.
Okay.
But the whole thing where like, hey, you're the only guy that can do this. There was, 4 other command module pilots that could have just as easily been in that situation.
Yeah.
And there were. So you had there was hundreds upon hundreds of people that were all like burning the midnight oil, running strip charts and fucking trying to solve these problems. So,
all right.
Yeah, that was a little bit of dramatic effect there.
So my last big question was the reaction of the public in real life, because in the movie they portray it as the public's already lost interest in going to the moon, where they cut off the feed and everything, and they don't actually broadcast what they were doing from the ship. And then after the incident happens, then all of a sudden like everybody's glued to their TVs, and I'm just curious if that's really the way it was.
Yeah, that line where they said that NASA made going to the moon look like I forget the other part of that. But basically, yeah, the public was, even for Apollo 12, the public wasn't nearly as involved.
Mm.
And Apollo 12 didn't do themselves any favors either, because they brought a color TV camera up to try and get, better images. And they immediately put that camera right into the sun, and it fried the fucking sensor. So they had basically no images of them on the moon from that point forward.
Jeez.
So yeah, that kind of backfired.
Yeah.
So they had better cameras when Apollo 13 went,
and
better filters so that wouldn't happen.
Right.
But yeah, the public really wasn't that interested. There was a bit of a story for it being Apollo 13, taking off because they did take off 13:13 Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the mishap happens, on the 13th, like there's a bunch of like really just elements to that were like, yeah, the crew downplayed it, just like they kind of did in the thing.
Yeah, in the movie.
Sinise, Gary Sinise, right?
Yeah, Gary Sinise.
The way he portrayed Mattingly, Mattingly doesn't look like that at all.
No,
like Mattingly looks more like you than he does Gary Sinise. Like bald head. I don't know how tall he is, but he definitely does not look like Gary Sinise.
Sure,
like,
yeah,
that's not what that guy looks like. What was the question?
Just basically the public's. Yeah.
No, but all that other shit, like everyone being glued to it, so right as this is happening, they had just signed a bill, basically. I don't think it wasn't UN specific, but they had signed a bill basically making space without borders.
Okay.
I I forget the name of the bill. Shit. There was actually astronauts that were working the White House, like working the room at the White House with like dignitaries from other countries, and LBJ was there. No, I'm thinking of something else. That's another mission. Never mind. No, but they signed they had signed an agreement for keeping space open, and then more importantly that if something happened that, like, hey, they went down in Russian waters, that the astronauts would be protected.
Sure.
And they had just recently signed that bill, so the foreign powers were like, hey, whatever we can do to help based on this thing, and the U.S. was like, nah, we're okay, we're good.
Yeah.
But the world was dialed in.
Yeah.
What was going on?
All right.
You imagine, like, can you imagine, like, present day, like something like that happening?
That'd be interesting.
I'd be curious what the public would really do, like how they would be.
Yeah.
Like, because there's definitely disinterest, like, in whatever's going on.
Sure. I mean, fuck, we had people stuck in space for how long? 6 months, something like that.
Yeah. Well,
and
stuck is relative, but yeah.
Well, I mean, they were pretty much stranded on the space station until
they could have got back on another thing earlier. They rolled them into a different mission set, and
okay.
Anyway, the choices were made, but that's beside the point.
Yeah. But you didn't hear much about that until they got rescued.
Right.
Rescued.
And even then it was not, I don't think it was that public. Although I don't watch the news. I don't know how with it I am and with what's people are find important these days.
Yeah.
But like 3 people, like if we send the Artemis mission out and for some reason something happens while because they're supposed to basically mirror the Apollo 8 mission.
Oh, really?
And so if something happens while they're out there, what's the world gonna, like, how they're gonna react?
Yeah.
I bet you it'd be a lot more divisive.
Oh, of course.
Because I think it's not an international crew. It's like, well, this rocket was a piece of shit anyway.
Yeah.
And SpaceX should have been the one doing this.
Yeah.
I get just.
It's like, and then the DEI hires that they made. Yeah.
Speaking of, 5:30. Oh no, the resupply was docking today, 5:30.
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah.
All right. Any last stuff that you want to add? I know you brought a whole book and notes and everything, and
the book is it's basically a picture book. But I think there's a picture of if you want to look through it, there's some cool pictures of the Lovell brought back the site in the lunar module, like that they used to find the Earth and used it as their navigation thing.
Yeah,
like he unscrewed that and brought it back and kept that as a souvenir.
Nice.
And that stuff is all, like, the new exhibit at the Air and Space Museum is fucking phenomenal. Like, all those little pieces of history from the Apollo missions.
Yeah.
There's so much of it there now.
Nice.
Like, besides Neil's fucking spacesuit that walked on the fucking moon, you can stand there and look at it.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was just cool. Going through my grandparents' stuff as I'm trying to catalog things.
Oh, wow. They had stationery. They had, like, envelopes, stamps.
I think my grandfather, being a postmaster, he probably had access to a lot of this stuff, but
yeah,
it was
that's cool.
Yeah, it has the guys that made the landing and the stamp also. First day of issue. Very cool. July 20th. It's stamped July 20th, 1969, which is it's just fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a cool picture book. Let me make sure I didn't forget something big.
While you're doing that, just in closing, I love the movie overall. I thought it was a great watch. Like we said before, I'd recommend it to anybody who hasn't seen it, and makes me interested in watching more stuff. I was recommended Gravity, the movie Gravity, after this. I don't know if that's any good.
I'd watch it and decide for yourself.
Yeah.
I won't say anything.
All right.
The story that Lovell tells about the aircraft carrier, like him being him shorting out his lights because of the pen light thing he made.
Yeah.
Or did I mention the pen light thing?
Or
did it just mention the lights shorting out?
I just think they just said the light shorted out.
So the reason that the lights shorted out in the cockpit was because he made a light that would attach to like his helmet, so that he'd have like this pen light, so he'd be able to look at his maps and shit
and be able to see better.
Yeah, so he plugged it into aircraft power.
Oh,
and when he did that on this particular night, it shorted out his fucking instrument panel.
Oops.
Yep. So it was self-inflicted.
When
that happened, and when they were flying, I can't remember if they mentioned it in the movie or not, but he could see his ADF enough that he was continuing to fly, and when he flew to what he thought was where the aircraft carrier should be, the direction that he was going was because there on the Japanese mainland there was a frequency being transmitted that was the same as what the carrier was transmitting. So he was just being drawn to the wrong thing, so he had to turn around, go back the same direction, and then that's when he found the phosphorus, the churn.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Crazy shit, man.
Yeah. The things that save your life, right? I always thought it was really cool that he was, at that point he had flown the most. He had the most hours in space of anyone else.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how, they don't really talk about it, but his Gemini 7 mission, it was a 14-day mission.
Damn.
In the Gemini capsule. Are you familiar with what the Gemini capsule looks like?
No.
So if we got on this table and sat next to each other, that's about how much space you'd have in a Gemini capsule.
Fuck that.
Yeah, 14 days.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Was this orbiting the Earth or something?
Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah, it was all in low Earth orbit, but they were basically testing to make sure that they weren't going to die if they were up in space for a certain amount of time.
Right.
So it was Lovell and Frank Borman were the crew for that. And there's a really good story behind all that too.
And imagine just being these guys who are these pioneers of space exploration and going up and be like, yeah, we're just going to test to make sure you guys can actually live after being in space for a while. And if it doesn't work out, well,
that's why they wanted test pilots.
Yeah.
Because they had that mentality of like, all right, we're going into this. The idea that we may die is not a limiting factor.
Right.
Right. And they just walk into it like that.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
And we know test pilots are fucking nuts. I mean, we've flown with them.
Oh yeah.
Fucking stop flying my airplane like an asshole. I distinctly remember saying that on the interphone.
Oh God. Yeah. That was weird. Weird experiences when we're being flown by other people.
Ugh.
So
the scene where you got Walter Cronkite and you see Wally Schirra is with him. This is right after the mishap happens, and they're showing Cronkite.
Yeah.
And it's actual news footage. And I read this recently, and I had no idea. So Sherrod, it was very short notice, and Sherrod was at a dinner party where he was in tux.
Ah.
And so when he showed up, they're like, okay, you're going to be on the air in like minutes, but you can't be sitting there in a fucking tux and tails.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave him Cronkite's tweed jacket,
Uh-huh.
a tie, and he still had his tuxedo shirt on underneath it. And he said the tweed shirt fucking itched or the tweed jacket just itched him like fucking crazy. And he didn't know the extent of the accident until, because his job was to be that correspondent with
the media.
I think it was ABC.
Yeah.
So when he showed up, he didn't have the whole story, and then Cronkite basically told him, like, this is what we got so far, and then he was just like, oh, fuck. And so that look on his face, that like, so if you go back and watch it, and you look at Cronkite, and you look at Wally Schirra's face, like, that's the face of a man who's processing the fact that his friends are in a death trap right now.
Right. And the fact that he itches like crazy.
And, well, he, in the interview, said he forgot about the itching immediately following that.
Yeah.
Company called Beechcraft was the company that made the O2 tank, by the way.
Oh.
Tank number 2. Just fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good enough.
All right.
It's good enough.
Cool.
I could give a lecture series on
I can tell
on a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, but no, it's good information to know. Good things. Good things.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the movie's terrible. I don't watch it at all. What were we talking about? No, it's a great movie for helping you understand that the Apollo era, like walking on the moon and everything else, it wasn't just about that. It was about the technology,
right,
and the technological leaps that we were making.
Mm-hmm. And it was more than just Neil Armstrong.
Right. Neil Armstrong, legitimately, Neil and Buzz, when they show sitting with Jim Lovell's mom,
mm-hmm.
that actually happened.
Oh, that was real?
Yeah.
Okay.
The day of them coming back, Marilyn Lovell needed somebody to sit with Jim's mom,
uh-huh.
to make sure that somebody was distracting her when they were talking, if they started talking about something bad, because she did have dementia to the point where she really didn't understand what was going on, but knew that her son was in space.
Yeah.
So yeah, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the two that were like, and she didn't make the association like that they had flown and did something significant.
Sure.
All right. So they played that very well.
Nice. All right, cool. Well, so that's it for this episode then. Next episode, we are going to take a look at the Light and Magic Season 2. How many episodes are there?
There are 3.
3, so are they, about an hour each?
Yeah, I think so.
So we could do one episode, we could do multiples. What do you think?
I've watched all 3 of them already, so we can do whatever you want to do.
All right, then I'll start watching them here fairly soon, and I'll make a determination as it gets closer to airtime.
Yeah.
As to whether or not we want to put, focus on individual episodes or go big picture.
Absolutely. All right. Lunar Girl says that she updated notes.
Correct.
So I am going to assume that the notes that's showing it's 1719 are the ones that are the most up to date.
You would think. Well,
Maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, because that's after we went on the air.
Lunar Girl? Does that scan? We're gonna go with it. And if it adjusts itself in the middle, then so be it. For ATSW Family Happenings on Wednesday, ATSW, the Escape Pod, will be discussing Stuff and Things.
Stuff
What kind of
and
stuff?
Things.
Exactly. Escape with them in the live chat at 19:05, 7:05 Eastern Daylight Time on the YouTube. Speaking of, it's starting to get dark early again. Sad days.
Yeah. Oh God, don't get me started. Me and Kristen had that conversation today. It's like, I don't want it to get cold.
I know. I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Yeah.
Support the official Sidebar Cantina band till the end. Check out the socials for concert dates and ticket information for their upcoming East Coast tour, which I believe is in January, is when they're going to be playing.
Nice.
Also visit tilltheendofficial.com to check out their tees, sweatshirts, and stickers and posters and buy some shit. Do it.
Do it.
That is how you want to support them. Listen to their stuff. Yes. Give them the stream numbers, but to actually get them some monies, buy their shit, because that goes directly to them.
Yeah.
Aren't You Fed Show released episode 156, Boise State Broncos and Habanero Pizza, this past Friday. Stream it on Apple or Spotify.
Yeah, football season.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not ready. It's the beginning of this football season means it's the end of our championship. Like it's the new football season. So now it's like, all right,
You're still the defending champs until
yeah,
the next Super Bowl.
but it's not the same. You have to start clean. Like it has to be, okay, I don't have the expectation of Super Bowl at week 1.
Right.
Because I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
So I don't expect to get to the fucking Super Bowl again. I expect them to fucking do what the majority of my life they have done and disappoint me. But they're vastly approaching the point where the majority of my life they have not lost.
Right.
You know, it's starting to breach that point where most of the time they've been successful. There's so many of these motherfuckers that have never known them to not be successful.
Yeah.
And yet they have attitudes. Like, fuck you. Fuck you. You fucking
Just beat the Cowboys, okay? Just
children.
Just
Week
beat the
1.
Cowboys.
It's our week 1.
Yep.
Scott from Used and Abused went live this past Tuesday with eBay finds. Catch the replay on YouTube. Layman's Terms has a few new videos on YouTube for the month of August.
Oh, good.
Check Keith out at Layman's Terms on YouTube. Why are these highlighted? It's throwing me off. Grave Reviews is back from their summer hiatus. Don't tell me that, because that would indicate the summer's over.
Right.
This Thursday, they'll be discussing 2017 action thriller Revenge. But before the review it, first we must view it. Watch it for free on Tubi and join Alan and DB on the Lil.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
Okay.
On the LI. You can find us at bio.link /Sidebar Cantina, where you can find our links to Patreon, YouTube, our audio podcasts on Apple, Audible, and Spotify, and all social media platforms, including X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and Discord. Once you get to the bio link, simply click the symbols under our pick to go to our platform of choice. You can also find all of our past Spotify mixtape playlists. Also, in our bio link is our TeePublic merch shop. Choose from 7 designs on everything from t-shirts and hoodies to tote bags, phone cases, and exclusive stickers and pins, wall art, magnets, notebook, laptop cases, pillows, just about anything you can imagine. Nothing says living like a naked chicken stick on a pillow. Speaking of which, how about Big Love and fucking hockey champ?
Yeah. Good for him, man.
Way to go. Good job, Lovin. That trophy needs to have like a bowl though, so you can drink beer out of it. Like it makes the Stanley Cup so good. You fill fucking beer and shit and fucking drink out of it.
Yeah. After a bunch of other dudes have done the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, hockey players.
They're disgusting.
All right, they're immoral.
Yeah.
Go to bio.link /sidebarcantina and click merch. Probably no reviews.
9.
Please write us a 5-star review. Just write us a 5-star review, and I'll pick a voice and I'll do it. Nope, it's gone.
Okay.
Had a thought, it's gone. Let us know who you want to read it. Finally, if you catch us on Spotify, help us out and click those stars and rumble the place with the fucking train going by. If you are listening to us on audio, please consider joining us in the chat. Live chat on Mondays. The chat is most definitely where it's at. Except for today. Well, I don't know. It may have been jumping today, but I was not paying attention. The chat is most definitely where it's at. I said that already. If you are new to Sidebar, please subscribe, ding that bell. Select all to receive notifications when we go live. Remember to smash that like button. It really helps us out. As always, a huge shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. You, punk, are the reason why we do this. All right, that's it.
All right, guys. Well, we went over time, so we are going to end it here. We love you, and we're happy to be back.
Yes.
Sorry about that. It was, shit happened. I didn't even get into the American Airlines and the 2 fucking canceled flights trying to get home, and delays and overnight flights, and just it was not fun.
Airlines are a mess.
Yeah,
right now.
But it's not Americans' fault. Well, it might be, but
I mean, kind of is.
They just happened to be the airline I was flying on during this tumultuous time. So, anywho, we're back. We'll see you guys next week. Light and Magic Season 2. Until then, Dave and everybody else, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Houston, we have a click.
All right. Stream going off, guys.
Bye.